Alright, so here we are again, part 2, time for my top 5 of my top 10 favorite movies of 2017. And this one, believe it or not, now that I think about it, was probably a lot easier to think of my top 5 favorites, because it didn't really change save for one movie. And yeah, it was actually 10 to 6 that actually made me go, okay, where do I go from here? But the top 5 were kind of solid and didn't really change all that much throughout the throughout the time period that the whole year. I mean, man, I cannot talk today, can I? Anyway, so once again, as always, this is just my personal opinion. If you think a movie should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. These are just my personal favorite films, and I didn't see every movie this year. And yeah, I'm always curious to know what are your top 10 favorite films of 2017. So, without further ado, let's kick things off with number 5, John Wick Chapter 2. This was another movie, much like Kong, that made me go, oh yeah, this movie's gonna be on the list. And yeah, with good reason. Everything you love about the first John Wick is accentuated even more. And it does some great world building. It's still, this is probably one of Keanu Reeves' best roles. Because I've always said that Keanu Reeves works best when you give him the right material. One of those things not being the right material was Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula film. And I can think of a few other films that he did not work in. But this is one of those films where you give Keanu Reeves the right material and he can knock it out of the park. Because him saying, I'm gonna kill them. I'm gonna kill all of them, would have been a lot more hokey, but it seems right coming out of Reeves. And good lord, everything you loved about the first film, the action sequences in the first film, they're kicked up to 11 in this film. There's some great character moments with John and what he wants to do. Like I said, there is some fantastic world building in John Wick Chapter 2, and more about this secret society of killers and all the rules to it. And I'm really excited for Chapter 3, and I'm really hoping we get a good I really want the John Wick trilogy to be pretty fucking badass. That's what I'm hoping for. That's all I want. I'm always happy. I don't want the third movie to, lose momentum and just fail utterly. Yeah. So, yeah, at number 5, John Wick Chapter 2. Following that, at number 4, is Dunkirk. Dunkirk was another movie I saw late in the game and didn't get a chance to review. It was also one of my most anticipated movies of the year. It was also my dad's most anticipated movie of the year. This movie is, of course, Christopher Nolan's latest film, and it was pretty short. Hour and 47 minutes long, I believe? Yeah, a little... And yeah, as opposed to the giant behemoth of boredom that was Interstellar, this movie is really good. Christopher Nolan really shows that he can do suspense, even in a war film. It's kind of what, and I've thought about this. Dunkirk is a movie that, if Alfred Hitchcock ever did a war film, it would probably be something like Dunkirk. And I guess I'll do a quick review right now. This movie's awesome. It's short, straight and to the point. There's not a lot of dialogue. And the action, Christopher Nolan shows that not only can he do dynamic cinematography, but he can also do, tell stories without, without a lot of dialogue. A lot of people forget from the Batman films, there are some moments without a lot of dialogue, and Christopher Nolan can tell, stories with just with just actions alone. And that's what makes this movie so great. And I think it's just the right amount of time. It actually felt a lot longer than an hour and 40 some minutes, however long it went. And it actually didn't feel too short, didn't feel too long. And like I said, this plays out more like a suspense thriller than it does an actual war film. And God, the cinematography in this movie is so goddamn good. I would not be shocked if it got Oscar nominated. In fact, I think it did. Now that I think about it, did it? I think it did. But yeah, Nolan shows once again that he can do just a fantastic work with this. And I feel really bad that this movie got, overlooked by a lot of people, just because I was like, oh, there's not enough dialogue. And I remember someone did a review, and I don't know if it was joking or not, but said, oh no, where's Batman? Why do you do more Batman movies? I was like, oh, for God's sake. But oh god, Dunkirk is just, oh man, it's such a great film, and it was actually really tough to see where it would go. But since this is number 4, but it was actually really tough to gauge where this would go. Again, I watched this and I was like, there's another movie for the list. But it was hard to determine where it was going on the list until I saw several more films. Especially with the 3 films that came out, and I'm pretty sure at this point, you guys probably know the top 3. You guys can probably guess what the top 3 are if you know me, but you probably don't know what order they're in. So, before we do that, I actually want to talk about some really shitty movies I saw this year. Now, I didn't see absolute shit movies, but there were some that made me go, fuck this. Fuck this movie. So, let's kick things off with, and I don't know if I'll do a list, but there are some bad movies I saw this year, starting with King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Oh, my god. I feel so bad for Charlie Hunnam. I mean, Jude Law really takes a bite of the cheese sandwich because he's such a great villain in here. The music in, almost said mucus. The music in here is actually really cool. And this actually feels like a He-Man and Masters of the Universe movie, but on a whole, yeah, there's just some stuff that goes nowhere. I could go on and on. I actually did a review about this, so yeah. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Here's another movie I fucking despise. Because I love the lore behind it. Alien Covenant. Sam Raimi. What the flying fuck were you thinking when you did this when you directed this film? The alien CGI looks like shit. The entire third act is terrible. The only good takeaway is Michael Fassbender. And I still laugh at the fingering joke because I'm immature like that. It ruins the alien mythos, and it pisses me off, because everything I hated about Prometheus, I still want it answered, and it just feels like it MacGuffined away. So, oh my god, the more I talk about, and I am so glad that actually, there's a part of me that's happy now that Disney now technically owns the rights to Alien and Predator, because now they could probably do something a lot better than you did, Ridley. Almost said, why did I say Ripley? Ridley Scott. And did I say Sam Raimi earlier? Fuck, I did. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why do I keep saying Sam Raimi when I want to say Ridley Scott? I don't know why. I keep doing that every fucking time. Oh, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? I am sorry when I said Sam Raimi. I meant Ridley Scott. I apologize. Oh, fuck that movie. So, I guess next movie I really hated on the list was The Mummy. I remember liking it, but as a dumb action film, but as I saw it again, I was like, oof, this was really bad. And I feel bad because I was hoping for the dark universe to take flight, but, not with this number. Sofia Boutella, God, that woman, that is my movie crush. After seeing this movie, I was like, oh yeah, you are, what, if I was hot, I'd want to be all over you, like those bandages. But yeah, Tom Cruise running away from things, don't care, absolutely do not. But yeah, this was just, when I saw it again, I was like, oh, it's a fun little romp, it's a fun little action movie, maybe it does work. When I saw it again, I was like, oh, Jesus, what was I thinking? But no, there was one movie I saw this year that made me go, fuck no. Even more than Alien Covenant. And that was Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. What happened to this franchise? It's been going downhill since the second movie. Like, it's been a shitty, slippery slope all the way down to Shitville. And now we're here. Because the only good thing in this film is Javier Bardem as Captain Salazar, because he's entertaining. Everything else, the CGI, Johnny Depp, everything that you loved about this franchise is completely gone. It feels like a hollow shell, even more than on Stranger Tides, and I hated On Stranger Tides. Yeah, it's just and I know you're probably wondering, well, what about Transformers: The Last Knight? I had half a brain cell and didn't watch that piece of shit, so I'm not counting it. But if I did, rest assured it'd probably be up here. But taking that place right now is Pirates 5. So yeah. So without further ado, let's get started with my top three favorite films of 2017, and they are as followed. At number three, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I know it was recent, but that was the movie I was holding out on before I did this list, and I was not disappointed, because Star Wars: The Last Jedi, it's so different, but at the same time, it feels like a Star Wars film. I know it does stuff, like, I know a lot of people are pissed off that the whole thing of Rey is that, oh, she's just, her parents are nobodies. Well, that's kind of the point, Before the prequel trilogy, Luke Skywalker was kind of a nobody. Before, I mean, yeah, he had a lineage, and, we know all that from Anakin in the prequels, but when we first see him, he's, kind of like a nobody, and that's what goes back with Rey. And I didn't give a shit what her parents were, because I was hoping she'd be just an original character. Same with Snoke. I know the Snoke theorists are probably pissed off, but I was like, from the get-go, I just want Snoke to be Snoke. That's all I wanted. Would I have liked to see him further in the trilogy? Yeah, but I think his death really does feel like it feels like necessary to really darken further into Adam Driver's performance as Kylo Ren. And Jesus Christ, Kylo Ren continues to be an awesome villain. Mark Hamill knocks it out of the park. I feel like everyone on here does a great job, but again, the humor does kind of hurt it at points, and that's why it didn't get higher. And it was because there were two movies for the longest time, and you can probably guess by now which two those are, that really felt really good. But everything, despite the humor and everything else, this The Last Jedi felt like a real breath of fresh air, even more so than Force Awakens. And I enjoyed Force Awakens, but this just felt like such a drastic different thing, and I am really excited to see Rian Johnson's trilogy. So yeah, Star Wars: The Last Jedi at number 3. At number 2 is War for the Planet of the Apes. Remember when I was talking earlier about John Wick and how I wanted a perfect trilogy? Well, yeah, 2017 marked that I got a perfect trilogy. Absolutely. I got a total perfect trilogy from this. I loved the hell out of this movie. I've been loving the Planet of the Apes films since since Rise, and they could continue on and they could be bad. But having said that, though, nothing can take away the Matt Reeves trilogy that we had. This is just a beautiful piece of film. I am going to be pissed off if Andy Serkis doesn't get, if he does not get a nomination for something, and I know he won't because I know the Oscars by now. But he just does a brilliant performance, and he really brings it home as Caesar in here, and it really does feel like just an action blockbuster, but at the same time, it's an amazing drama as well. Everything I loved about Dawn and Rise is accentuated further with War, and God, it's such a beautiful ending to the whole Caesar story arc. But yeah, what else more can I say about War for the Planet of the Apes? Anyway, so let's get on with number 1, which you can probably guess by now what it is. Yeah, it's Logan. Are you shocked? No, you're not? You're not shocked that it's Logan? Fuck me, I guess I'm obvious. But in all seriousness, though, the moment I saw this movie the first time around, I literally went, every movie that comes out after this film is going to have to compete with this level of storytelling. That's what I thought the moment I walked out of that theater, is that every movie from here on out for the rest of the year is going to have to compete against that film. And I am not wrong, because this is not only a great story and a bookend to the story of Wolverine and Hugh Jackman's and Patrick Stewart's final performances as Xavier and Logan. It's just a great comic book film, and this is why Logan was the main reason of why I was so hesitant on Disney buying Fox, because we may never get this again. We may never get this kind of storytelling with Wolverine or any X-Men character outside of Deadpool again. That was my biggest fear with that. And then you may be thinking, oh, it's R-rated, that's why. No, it's not just the R rating. The R rating just allowed them to do whatever they wanted. This is just a great character piece that needed that R rating to be everything it wanted. And I really hope the X-23 sequel continues despite the Disney regime taking over. This is just a brilliant film. Really, Hugh Jackman this movie deserves an Oscar nomination. No bullshit. This movie deserves a total fucking Oscar nomination. I would be fine if it just got nominated. Or at least Hugh Jackman, because he gives it his 150% of, this might be his last hurrah as Wolverine. Well, obviously, yeah, it is his last hurrah. And same thing with Patrick Stewart as Xavier. This movie is good. I feel like this movie is going to be criminally ignored by the Oscars because, it's a comic book movie. Fuck them. Just fuck them. I don't care if this movie gets an Oscar nom or not. This movie is my number one of 2017, and I've got a pretty good feeling that it's the number one film for you guys, a lot of you guys as well. So yeah, no contest, Logan is my number one film of 2017. So yeah, you guys. So hope you all enjoyed this list, and you guys tell me in the comments below. What are your top 10? What are your favorite films of? Top 10 favorite films of 2017. Just comment below. Let me know. Once again, this was just my personal opinion, and I'm always happy to hear yours. So yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.